Hey, this is Dominic with the Gold Prospectors Association of America. Let me tell you, if you ever got your birthday gold, I did. Birthday gold, George Massie, our founder, 81 years old, September 1st. The whole month of September, he's coming back and he's giving you gold if you sign up for the GPAA or you renew. If you even upgrade to lifetime membership, there's even more benefit. But I got my birthday gold. Let me show you what you can get just by renewing or signing up for the GPAA. I'm going to come down here. I'm old, so I have to creak as I go down. I always bring a safety pan because I don't like putting gold back. I like to put it in my vial. But you know what? I'm going to dump my George Massie birthday gold in my pan. Heck, you don't need that one. I'm going to use my safety pan because remember, I don't want to put it back. And I'm going to go in here. I'm going to give it a quick pan, but this is my birthday gold. You guys know what seed gold is? Seed gold, that's what you put in your vial and you keep filling your vial until you get it full. Well, part of this is going to be my seed gold for a brand new vial. Get through a little bit of that black sand. Boy, that Burt River wants to take my safety pan. We're going to work this down pretty fast. So, oh, starting to see a little color there. That's my birthday gold. Thank you, George. Maybe I should hold this pan down here a little bit. A little bit more we'll pull off. Get rid of that blonde. But you know, the whole month of September, we got George Massie birthday gold. And there's some birthday gold just for renewing your GPA membership or signing up as a new GPA member. But you want to know more? Let me tell you what else is going on. I'll throw this in this black pan. Every day, everybody that signs up, they're going to pick a person. And you have the opportunity. Put my trash over there. You have the opportunity, you sign up for GPAA, to get a nugget like that. We're talking some big weight. I bet you everybody wants one of those. If you upgrade to lifetime, it gets even bigger. So if you want any of that, or any of what you saw in here, all you got to do is call 800-551-9707 and say, I want some birthday gold. George Massie said I could have some birthday gold. This is Dominic with the GPAA. Say, have a great day and go find some gold.
Gentlemen, we're talking about the 1872 mining laws, and the guys have asked me some questions about it, and so I'm going to depart the information that I have. And what we're going to do is we're going to take an individual that's going out prospecting, and he's thinking about getting a mining claim, and what are the first things that he has to do about that? Well, number one, we're talking about mining claims can only be done on public land and only in the 11 western states where the public land was not acquired or purchased by the federal government. Any land that's been purchased by the federal government is withdrawn from mineral entry, okay? And only those lands that were gotten by treaty or when the state became a state, you know, in the 11 western states, which is about 2/3 the 11 western states. Now, some of the land that's been withdrawn is wilderness and primitive areas, okay? Endangered habitat areas. If they have an area that's an endangered area, they withdraw that from mineral entry. National parks and monument areas are withdrawn. But that still leaves approximately 40% of the 11 western states that's open to mineral entry. Now, what must go through a guy's head? There are only certain areas that have minerals that you're looking for. There's only certain areas that have gold. There's gold up and down through the mother lode of California. There's certain areas in Arizona that are gold bearing areas, and most of those areas are identified. So what you'd want to do is get you some good geological maps and overlay them with your USGS maps to give you an idea of where the areas are where there's minerals. And then you've got to go out and prospect. But before you go prospecting, you've determined that this is an area that's open to mineral entry. It's not a withdrawn area. and it's not certainly a national park or something like that, because those areas are closed. So now that you've determined that, then when you go into the area, you got to find out if somebody else has got a claim on it. Now, you don't want to just arbitrarily go about doing that, because you're thinking about doing some prospecting. So basically what a prospector has to do, he has to look for physical signs of activity. And one thing that I always do is I'll get the microfiche from the BLM, and I'll look on it in an area that I'm interested. If I'm interested in a certain section, I'll look in there, and that'll tell me how many claims are in that section. And if I want more specific information about where those claims are, then I can go to the county recorder's office and pull up those claims and take a look at their physical location maps and lay them into that section that I'm interested in prospecting. You all follow me so far? So once you've done that, then you know which areas are not claimed, or which areas have been abandoned, which claims have been abandoned, because every year guys die and abandon claims for various reasons, and those show up on the BLM microfiche. So now that you've determined that there's an area open on this creek that you're interested in prospecting, then you go out there and you prospect it. And what you have to determine now is that you've located a mineral. Gold is what we're looking for, so that you've located gold that would tell a prudent man that there is enough there to extract it at a profit. And there is a real arbitrary thing, because one guy works with a pick and shovel and has no overhead, and all of his gold is a profit. Basically, it's labor. Another guy wants to start a big mining operation, and he can't tool up for the amount of gold that's there, so he certainly couldn't extract it at a profit. So it really gets into an arbitrary thing, and that's why it's called a prudent man rule. Now let's say that you found some gold out there with your gold pan and your pick and shovel, and you say, boy, I can do pretty good in here. I'd like to file a claim on this. Maybe I can prove up the minerals here, and they're pretty extensive, and I can get some mining company interested in it, or I can form a company and raise some capital and mine this, but first I've got to claim it. So now what you need to do is you've got to go to the county recorder's office and file what's called a location notice, and put up stakes on each corner of the claim, and file a copy of your location notice on the claim itself. And then you have to file that with the county recorder's office. Once you file it with the county recorder's office, then you send a copy of it to the BLM, along with their filing fee, which I think is now $30. It's been some time since I filed one. And then you'll probably have to pay the rental fee for that year, which will be $100, so it'll cost you about $130 with the BLM and whatever the county recording fee is, which is usually about $10. And now you have a valid claim. What are your requirements for holding that claim? Well, one, you have to do $100 worth of assessment work each year, and then you have to pay the BLM a $100 rental fee on that claim, and then you can hold that claim from year to year and prove up the minerals. And you can hold that as long as the 1872 mining laws exist, and you do your assessment work and you file them. Let's say that you don't do your assessment work, you miss a year, then you've abandoned that claim and it's open for somebody else to file. If you die and your heirs don't file that, they've effectively abandoned it. If it's not filed by September the 1st, and then the recording, a copy of that recording has to be filed with the BLM by December 31st. So you have to file your assessment work with the county recorder in the county, whichever your claim's located in, by September 1st, and then by December 30th, you've got to take a copy of that recording and file that with the BLM and pay your fee, and that has to be done by December the 31st to keep your claim valid. In order to, what can you do with the claim? Well, you can go out there. If you want to do any mining, you have to file a plan of operations with the Forest Service. You can do some prospecting sometimes without filing that, because that's different. But if you're going to do some sluicing or high banking or whatever you're going to do, you file a plan of operations with the Forest Service and it's approved. If you want to mine it, then in your plan you state what kind of mining equipment you want to break in. If you're going to bring in any equipment today at all, probably there will be some bonding requirements. If you're going to move more than a couple of yards a day, then you've got to go through the EPA because they have a requirement that if you are going to have an operation where that you're going to move 2 or 3 cubic yards a day or so many yards a month, then you have to go through and get an environmental impact statement, and there's a whole lot of regulations that come in. Once you have to do that, then you have to go through the Fish and Game and the state EPA and the state DEQ if you live in Oregon and California, and there's a whole bunch of regulatory agencies that you have to go through to get your permits to do any sizable mining. Once you get over that minimum that the EPA has established for anything less than that, they don't really require it. And that varies from state to state and county to county, I might add, fellas. So you want to check on that. Once you've done that, you've put up your bonds and you've gotten your permits and everything, commit to very rigid environmental standards, and any violation of them can not only cause you a whole lot of problems. That's involved in mining when you get into that particular thing. But if you get into a lot of gold, you might want to do that. Just beware that there's a lot of stuff that you got to go through, and there's people that can help you. We have people in the GPAA. Perry's a mining engineer, and we have Jake and a lot of other people that can help you file the paperwork and give you an indication of what those bonding requirements are. Let's say that you've held this claim for 5 years and you've proved that there's a lot of minerals on it, and you'd like to take it to patent. What does that mean? You know, you've heard a lot of people say that the patent part of the mining laws, that the U.S. government's giving away land for $2.50 an acre. You've all heard that. What is that? Well, after you've held a mining claim for 5 years and you've proved the minerals on it, then you're eligible to take that claim to patent. But being eligible and being able is 2 different things. Let me tell you that there's been few mining claims patented, very few by individuals, for gold anyway, since the 1930s. The amount of land that has gone into the private sector by way of the mining claim or the mining laws has been very small to start with, but the federal government owned all of the land and they had to get the land into the private sector. The mining laws was one way that they conveyed land to the private sector, and then they had grant deeds and homesteads and all that kind of stuff that you guys know about. Well, once you've had this claim for 5 years, you can start a patenting process. And let me tell you what's involved in there. First of all, you've got to go get the claim surveyed by a mineral surveyor and a physical surveyor. And depending upon the location, that can be very, very expensive. Today, if you bring a surveyor out into a remote location, he's probably going to charge you $20,000 to survey that 20-acre claim, because it's got to be a precise survey. Then you've got to have a geologist go out and do a mineral survey to substantiate you, because remember, you're not a professional, you're a prospector. Even though we like to consider ourselves professionals, we're not professionals, and so you have to have a mineral survey done by a geologist. Then you've got to go get yourself a patent attorney, and he's going to require at least a minimum of a $5,000 retainer if he's any good, and you're looking at probably anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 in attorney's fees to get a patent attorney to walk you through the patenting process with the Division of Mines in Washington, D.C., Bureau of Mines. And so the Bureau of Mines is the ones that you apply this patent with, and there's a whole lengthy legal process. Now, during that patenting process, it has to go out for public comment, and you have to put it in the newspapers to do it. If there's any adverse public comment by any environmental group, your patent will be delayed practically forever, gentlemen. And you're looking to patent a 20-acre mining claim at something in the neighborhood of $100,000, plus if there is adverse public comment, that $100,000 may be thrown away for nothing. That's why that most of the mining companies that are working rich deposits elect not to patent them, because if the patent is denied, then you lose your mining claim. And that area is never open to mineral entry again. It's withdrawn from mineral entry, and you will find 20-acre parcels like that out there that's withdrawn because somebody's attempted to patent, couldn't get through the patent process, and that area was withdrawn. Regardless of the minerals that's on it, the federal government looks for ways to withdraw this land from mineral entry, because the 1872 mining laws gives the prospector a right to go on this land. And it's been a good law, because even though it's kind of contradictory or oxymoron with the government, on one hand they encourage mining, on the other hand they discourage it, because it's the bureaucracy that feeds upon itself that's discouraging the mining rather than the government itself, because the government has profited so much off of a single ounce of gold that was pulled out of the ground in 1850. It taxes over and over and over again. It never goes away, and it's real wealth. But be aware that if you want to patent a piece of ground, it's going to be very, very expensive for you as an individual. Now, I realize that all this money that's paid out to all these attorneys and surveyors and stuff does not go to the federal government. Now, when they get it as income, of course, they pay tax on it, and that goes to the federal government. So indirectly, the federal government makes a lot of money from somebody attempting the patenting process. But let me tell you that the final thing that you do before a patent is issued to you is you send a $2.50 an acre fee to the Bureau of Mines in Washington, D.C. as the fees for processing the paperwork, and that's what these radical outfits have said about the mining laws, that it's a giveaway of public land for $2.50 an acre, which is a technical truth, but a blatant lie in practicality.